Hi, everyone. Good to see you all again today. We'll get started again in just a moment. I started with a waiting room this morning, and then if I need to let more people in, I might have to do that at some point in our session. Um, so we'll see. I think I disabled it now, though. Good to see all of you here today. So we are doing our mental health on the mat, lunchtime yoga break. And as always, you can start just by taking off your shoes, kind of wiggling your toes and finding some grounding in the space around you. So we are in the month of July. It's our last for the month of July, and our theme is grounding. So we have gone through grounding with the earth, grounding with the body, and today we'll be grounding with the present moment. I have a few things that I will share with you before we get started, just some logistics. But before we even get into the logistics today, I wanted to do a little bit of neck and shoulder stretching so that you can continue those while I share some of the format and flow of how this goes as well. So we're going to start by finding a neutral spine. So imagining from our tailbone up our spine through the crown of our head is lengthening in a long line as if there was a string pulling your crown or the top of your head closer to the ceiling or the sky, wherever you are at. We're going to open our shoulders. The way that I like to do that is to bring my hands in front of me, turn my palms up to the top, open my arms wide, and then release my arms and shoulders down, and my shoulders should stay open. You can let your hands rest by your side or on your knees. The first thing we're going to do is tuck our right ear to our right shoulder. Just creating a gentle neck stretch. Bringing your right hand up over the top of your head and just letting gravity pull the weight of your head down. So you're not using any muscles, just the gentle weight of your hand. And you can begin to play with a little bit of movement, tucking your chin to your chest, rolling through neutral, bringing your chin to the sky. Seeing if sitting at your desk all day, if there's any spots of your neck that really want some extra stretching, and you can hold in those spots, or you can just gently roll your chin to the sky and back down to your chest. Lifting your top hand, placing it on your bottom ear to help support your head as you bring your head back to a neutral position. This time tucking your left ear to your left shoulder. It's probably not going to reach all the way, and that's okay. Bringing up your left hand. Again, just gently resting it on the top of your head to add some of that weight to deepen your stretch. And you can begin tucking your chin or lifting your chin up to the sky. For our lunch break yoga, I always like to start with neck stretches, because for me, when I'm sitting at a desk all day, that's the part that gets tense first. Noticing if there's any area that your body wants to stay, to stretch a little bit deeper, a little bit longer. Or just continuing gently raising your chin to the sky or tucking it to your chest. Again, taking your left hand to lift your head back up to a neutral place so you don't have to engage your neck muscles too much. We're going to circle both of our arms up, reaching high above our head on an inhale, And on an exhale, bringing our hands to our shoulders, creating circles with our elbows. I always like to imagine I'm a little chicken, stretching out my wings, circling our elbows towards the front, and circling our elbows towards the back. You can play around with little circles or bigger circles, seeing if the movement can come first from your shoulders, shrugging up, opening through the front, and rounding through the back as you bring your elbows forward. You can release your arms back down to your side. This time we're going to be moving just our chest, so our hips will stay in the same place, moving our chest from the center line of our chest around in circles. So rather than moving with our head first, imagine there's a circle around your chest and your chest is following that line. And switching to the opposite direction. You can make big circles or little circles and just notice the micro movements. And you can continue these movements. You can continue stretching your shoulders, your neck, your upper chest, as I share a little bit about today and what we'll be doing today. If you haven't already, again, you can take your shoes off to build some proprioception in the bottoms of your feet as we begin. Our theme today is grounding based on the present moment. So we'll be doing a meditation to begin with. And then we'll do a little bit of chair yoga. I'm in an actual office space today, and they have these funny little conference chairs, so that's what I'll be doing it on. And then the last part of today's class will be on the yoga mat as usual. Just a reminder that all bodies look different, even when they're just standing still. So bodies are going to look different when they move. I'll cue for some different levels that we'll be going through today, and you can choose if you want to engage at level 1 or A or level B or level C. So whatever your body wants to do today, just allowing and accepting that it is amazing exactly as it is. There's no way that you should look throughout any of these yoga practices. And beginning with our sort of mental health tip today, we're going to be doing a lot of counting. So counting is a way to come back to the present moment. You can count breaths, you can count things that you see around you, you can count sensations, you can even just count your fingers. I'll throw in a different cues for counting and how we can add that in today. The first one that we're going to do is focusing on a longer exhale. So when we inhale in our breath, our heart beats a little bit faster, and it's an upregulation of the nervous system. And when we exhale, our heart slows down a little bit, and it's a downregulation of the nervous system. So one way to bring in grounding is to have shorter inhales and longer exhales to focus on the exhale and the downregulating of the nervous system. We're going to do a counting breath. So wherever you are at, you can come to a place of stillness in your chair or on the mat if you're sitting on the floor. And in this place of stillness, just begin to notice your breath and let it be however it wants to be. Notice your heart rate and let it be however it wants to be. You can let your breath come into whatever part of your body it wants to. If it wants to come all the way into your lower belly or hang out in your upper chest, either is okay for today. I'm going to cue some counting for our breath. starting by exhaling all of the air out of your lungs and breathing into the count of 4, 3, 2, 1, holding at the top of your inhale, exhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, holding at the bottom, inhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, holding at the top, exhaling for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last breath, inhaling for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Returning to your normal breath. The meditation today is what I like to call the zoom in, zoom out meditation. You're going to begin just by noticing where your body is in space. Noticing how far into your body your breath wants to come, your awareness wants to come. And seeing if on your next inhale you can expand that awareness so that it reaches every cell of the edge of your body. Becoming aware of the sensation of the air and your clothes and the ground and your chair on your skin. And on your next inhale, letting that awareness spread and expand to include the room around you. Notice any noises in the room, any objects in the room. Seeing if your awareness can spread to every last little corner and edge and around and tucked in behind every last little thing in this room. And again, on your next inhale, see if you can expand that awareness, pop it through the edge of the room to the entirety of the building that you're in. Connect your consciousness to the street around you. Let it expand with each inhale. Wider and wider awareness until it encompasses your neighborhood, your city, the surrounding cities, the surrounding nature, and the entirety of the state that you're in right now. Let your awareness continue to spread, reaching out with each inhale as you become aware of it spreading across the country, across the different temperate zones, the different cities, the different states, until it embodies the very edges of the land that you're on, reaching the border of the continent, the edge of where the ocean waves lap against the shores. And again, expanding that awareness across the ocean, up into the sky, to our atmosphere, until that awareness encompasses the entirety of the earth. And on your next inhale, let that awareness pop out beyond the earth, expand into our solar system, to the nearby planets, to the sun, reaching farther to the edges of the galaxy. And finally, spreading enough that you are aware of the entirety of the known universe. Expanding your awareness on the inhale, deepening your understanding on the exhale. Seeing if you can even pop past the edges of what is known to you and include awareness of the universe that is unknown, the parts that are unreachable, undiscovered, and add those into your consciousness and your awareness. Letting all of the air out of your body. Taking a big inhale in, the biggest inhale you have had yet today. And on one long exhale, we're going to come back to our bodies. So exhaling and bringing your awareness back through the known universe, through the galaxy, through the solar system, the sun, the planets, the atmosphere, back to the earth, back to the oceans, to the continent that you're on, the state that you're in, the neighborhood, the city, exhaling all the way back to your building, the awareness of your body, and this present moment. Inhaling again, just with an awareness of your body. And this time, as you exhale, see if you can turn that awareness inwards to a deep part of your nervous system that is completely still. This space is always yours to come back to whenever you want to. But for now, you can wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, blink some light into your eyes, come back to the space around you. That was a longer version of this meditation. My partner likes to do this one every time he gets into his car. He takes a moment just to imagine his consciousness expanding and then sinking back in on himself in the span of 30 seconds or so. So it can be done fast to ground you and bring you back to that quiet place in yourself and your awareness of yourself in the present moment and in connection with the universe. We're going to move on to some chair movements for today. So I'm going to transition. If you're already in your chair, you're welcome to stay in your chair. From this seated place, you can also do this on the floor. The second half of the chair flow today is actually going to be easier on a chair. So if you are seated on the floor, it might be better to find a chair. First thing we're going to do is inhale our arms up. Exhale, reach down towards our toes. Give our back a little bit of release. Bringing your hands to your knees to press your chest up. This time, inhaling, lengthening through your spine. Exhaling, you're going to bring one knee, your left knee, open to the side. Inhaling your arms up. Exhaling, you're going to bring your arms to the leg that stayed in the same spot. For me, that's my right leg. And gently twist your upper body in the opposite direction, looking over your right shoulder. Exhaling, releasing back to center. Inhaling, lengthening through your spine. Exhaling, lifting your right leg, opening your hips to the right side. Raising your arms up, twisting your upper body, reaching over to your left leg and gently looking over your left shoulder. As always, inhaling to lengthen, exhaling to deepen into a twist. And returning back to center. This time, inhaling, bringing our left leg to our right knee. Inhaling, both arms up. Exhaling, forward fold over your bent leg. For my body today, my hips are so tight, that's a very short forward fold. My arms are not going to make it to the ground. Inhaling back to a straight neutral spine, releasing your leg and bringing up your right ankle to your left knee. Lengthening through the spine and exhaling over your folded leg. Sitting back up, releasing your leg. We're going to be doing a seated version of the same flow that we will be doing for standing today. So today there's going to be a lot of repetition to help us get into a more meditative and counting state. So inhale, come to standing in front of your chair. Stack your hips over your ankles, shoulders over your hips. Open your palms to the front for mountain pose. Inhale to lengthen through your spine. Exhale, raise your arm, drops your hips, hover above your chair. Chair pose. Inhale to reach in front of you. Exhale to sink down into your chair, forward fold, tuck your head, let your head hang, and just breathe. Bring your hands to your knees. Use the strength of your arms to press up with your chest. Lengthening through your spine. We're going to inhale our arms up above our head. Exhale, bending at the elbows to cactus your arms out. Lift your chin, open your chest for a slight back bend. Now straightening your arms, straightening your legs, coming to the edge of your seat. We're going to hinge at the hips for a seated downward dog. Exhaling back to our seats, opening to the left side, looking over our left shoulder and looking around, seeing if there are 5 things around you that you can name. Don't worry too much about naming them. Around me, I'm seeing white, square, circle, words, chair. Inhaling, arms up to the front. Exhaling, opening to the right side, looking over your right shoulder. Seeing now if there are 4 things that you can hear. Exhaling, releasing your arms, coming back to a neutral spine, standing up in front of your chair, returning to mountain pose. Repeating this flow, inhaling, arms up, sinking down, hovering above your chair. Exhaling, dropping down onto your chair, folding over into forward fold. Inhaling, using the strength of your arms to press your upper body up. Raising your arms up high. Exhaling, opening your chest, lifting your chin to the sky, cactusing your arms out. Straightening your arms, straightening your legs, coming to the edge of your chair, hinging at the hips for seated downward dog. Inhaling to deepen that stretch. Exhaling to open again to the left side, looking over your left shoulder. This time naming 3 things that you can feel or 3 sensations that you're having. It's all right if you don't make it all the way to 3. It's all right if your brain can't access words to label them right now. Inhaling, both arms up. Exhaling, opening to the right side. Naming 2 things that you can smell. Inhaling, both arms up. Exhaling, forward fold. Placing your hands on your knees to help lift your chest to come back to a seated position. Seeing if you can name or list 1 thing that you can taste. If you were just eating lunch before this, maybe that I was eating potato chips. So I still taste that. There's no right or wrong way to do any of these practices. So build some self-compassion for however your mind wanted to integrate that information. We're going to move on now to our standing flow for today. So I'm going to transition and put my chair off to the side. You won't be needing your chair for the flow for today. First thing we're going to do is come down to our mat to do some intuitive movement. So I'll give you 3 options here. You can spread your knees wide, tuck your toes together, sit down on your heels and walk your hands forward for child's pose. Just take a moment to rest and relax. You can opt to come into a tabletop position, moving through cat and cow. So stretching out your spine. And the third option for right now is you can come back and sit on your knees or stand up on your knees and add some shaking and some bouncing to release any extra energy that you have. So whatever energy you have today, you are welcome to go ahead and just practice listening to your body and giving it the movement that it wants and needs right now. As I mentioned earlier, today's flow is going to have a lot of repetition. So we'll be moving through the sun salutation. We'll move through it about 6 different times, and our focus is going to be adding in that breath where we lengthen the exhale and tying our movement to our breath. So come to a standing position at the top of your mat. We're going to inhale our arms up, drop our hips down, coming into chair pose. Engage in your core, lengthening through your arms and tailbone. Inhaling to stretch. Exhaling, straightening out your legs, keeping a slight bend, folding forward at the hips into our forward fold. Inhaling to halfway lift, placing your hands on your knees or your shin. Exhaling back into forward fold, planting your hands on the ground beside your feet. You can bend your knees to bring the ground a little bit closer, stepping back with your legs into plank pose. You can drop your knees down to the ground or keep them lifted as you lower your body to the mat. Untuck your toes, squeeze your glutes, your shoulders, your chest. Inhale, raise your chin for cobra. Exhale, back down to the mat. Tucking your toes, pressing up with your hands. You can move through tabletop position, lifting your hips, coming into downward dog. Inhaling, stretching through your legs. Exhaling, lowering with your shoulders to give yourself a nice upper back stretch. On your next exhale, bringing your right leg up to meet your right hand, your right foot up to meet your right hand, lifting your arms and upper body to the sky. Gaze is up, back heel lifted, crescent pose. Exhaling, rotating your hips to the length of your mat, dropping your back heel, opening your arms out to the side, gaze is in front of your front hand. Warrior two. Exhaling, cartwheeling your arms down, bringing your back leg to the back of, or your front leg to the back of your mat, kicking your hips up back into downward dog. And then slowly walking, hopping, skipping, jumping, whatever you need to do to bring your feet to the top of the mat. And roll up vertebrae by vertebrae with your spine to a standing position. Palms open to the front, mountain pose. Repeating this again with cueing for the opposite side. We're going to inhale, drop our hips, raise our arms, gaze is up. Core is tightened, legs are strong for chair pose. Exhaling, straightening out our legs, folding over, letting our upper body hang. Inhaling, halfway lift, lengthening from tailbone through the crown of your head. Exhaling, hands planted on the opposite side of your feet. Legs go to the back, plank pose. You can take a breath here, or in the same exhale, drop your knees and continue down to the mat. Inhale, squeezing your glutes, your shoulder blades, lifting your chest, your chin to the sky. Exhaling, releasing back down to the mat. Tucking your toes, moving through tabletop, lifting those hips for downward dog. This time, inhaling to deepen the stretch. Exhaling, bringing your left leg forward. Back heel lifted, upper body arms reach towards the sky. Crescent pose. Exhale, twist to the long side of your mat, drop your back heel, arms reach wide, gaze over your front hand. Cartwheeling your arms back down to the mat, taking your left leg to meet your right, passing through downward dog, before walking your way back up to the top of your mat. Inhaling vertebrae by vertebrae, unrolling your spine to come to standing again at the top of your mat. This time we'll move through this flow. First, just connecting it to our breath. Inhaling to chair. Exhaling, straighten those legs, forward fold. Inhaling a halfway lift. Exhaling to plank. Drop those knees all the way down to the mat. Inhaling, lift that chest for cobra. Exhaling, tuck your toes, raise your hips, downward dog. Inhale, right foot comes forward all the way up to crescent pose. Exhale, open to the side for warrior two. Pause here for a moment. Catch your breath. And begin again. Exhale, cartwheel your arms down, front leg to the back, hips up into downward dog. Inhale, walk your feet to the front of the mat. And let yourself just hang there. And on the exhale, slowly roll your spine back up to mountain. Moving through it again, just noticing our breath. Inhale, raise those arms, drops those hips, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands on the mat, pass through plank all the way down. Inhale up to cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes, downward dog. Inhale, left leg forward, rise on up for crescent. Exhale, open into warrior two. Pause for a moment, catch your breath. And cartwheel our arms down on an exhale, moving through downward dog. And inhaling, walking your feet up to meet your hands. Exhaling, coming all the way up. Back to standing mountain pose. This time adding in our counting. Because we're moving, we won't go all the way to 8 seconds. We'll just do 4 and 5. So we're gonna inhale into chair pose, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, forward fold, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Moving at the pace of your breath, inhaling, halfway lift, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling all the way down to the mat, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling to downward dog, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling, right leg forward, 4, 3, arms up, 2, 1. Exhaling, twist and open, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pausing for a moment to catch your breath. Can be tricky if I'm cueing the breath for you, but that's okay. On the next exhale, cartwheeling your arms down, 5, 4, hips up to the sky, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling, walking your hands forward, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhaling back up to standing, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This time we're going to flow through it at your own pace with your own breath. So the same moves all start us out. You can choose to count or just follow your breath at however fast or slow you want to breathe right now. Inhaling to chair. Exhaling, forward fold. Follow your own breath. It's okay if you get lost. It's okay if you get the breathing backwards. All we're doing is training our body to connect to our mind, to be more present in this moment. Wherever you're at, if you dropped out and did child's pose or continued through, we're going to meet at the top of our mat in mountain pose. We're going to let our body shake all of that out. Whatever imperfections came of that, you can shake it off. Whatever amazing thing happened during that, you can shake it into your body. And we're going to come to a seated position on our mat to continue a little bit of shaking, bringing your feet faces to meet each other, the bottoms of your feet to meet each other, knees knocked out to the side for butterfly pose. You can choose to have your hands on your knees. You can choose to have your hands on your feet, and you're just going to flap your little butterfly wings. If you want to, you can add in some chicken wings and get really silly with it. It's okay to be imperfect. It's okay to not be present. It's okay to not be in the moment. Raising our arms on an inhale, legs come to stillness. Exhaling, walking our hands in front of us. Forward fold over our butterfly legs. Walking our hands back closer to our feet to come to a seated position again. Inhaling our arms up to the sky. Exhaling, opening to the left side. Left hand goes behind you, right hand on your left knee. Looking over your left shoulder to come into a twist. Inhaling, arms up, back to center. Exhaling, left hand to right knee, right hand behind you, looking over your right shoulder. Inhaling, arms up in front of you and releasing down to your side. You're gonna stretch your legs out long. Sorry for the funking lights. I'm not sure why that is happening. Straddling your legs out wide to the side of your mat. Again, all bodies are different. It might look something like that. You might be able to do a full splits. My body doesn't want to do that in this moment. This is what feels pretty good. So I'm looking for something that's a slight stretch, but not uncomfortable. Inhaling, raising my arms up. Exhaling, walking them in front of me for another forward fold. Coming back to seated, using your hands to walk your upper body back into place. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, opening to the left, twisting to the left. Left arm behind you. Right arm, if it reaches to your left knee, gaze over your left shoulder. Inhale, arms up, passing through center. Exhaling to the opposite side. Inhaling, arms up, returning to center. We're gonna come to, you can bring your legs back together, shake them out if you need to. We're gonna come to a laying position on your mat. With your knees bent, heels as close to your hips as they feel good and feel comfortable. We'll be coming into a bridge pose. Your hands can be on your sides on the mat. I like to know that my lower belly is engaged when I do this to protect my lower back. So sometimes I'll have a hand on my belly so to remind me to engage those muscles. So engaging your core, squeezing your glutes, lifting your hips up into the air. And remembering to breathe in our bridge pose. If you have a yoga block or a pillow or something around you, I'm going to use my hands today because I don't have either of those. I'm going to make fists out of my hands, place them under my sacrum, which is where the fleshy part of my glutes kind of meets the bone that's under there. And I'm going to rest the weight of my hips on my hands, just so my low back can have a little bit of a break, a little bit of release. Inhaling, engaging my core, lifting my hips, removing my hands, and slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, letting my spine come back down to the ground. Walking my feet about a foot closer to the long edge of the mat, so there's more space between my foot and my hips. I'm going to start to windshield wiper my knees from side to side. So hips and feet stay in the same spot. Knees gently rock from left to right. Bringing your knees back to center. Lengthening your legs out long. Pausing for a moment. On an exhale, we're going to bring both of our knees to our chest. You can grab onto your knees with your hands. Do a little bit of rocking to lengthen out your spine. Straightening your legs, flexing your feet so that your ankles, knees, and hips are all in alignment with gravity. Keeping your heels together, you're going to externally rotate your toes so that your hips rotate out and open, legs stay straight. Heels together, toes apart. And doing the opposite, internally rotating, toes together, heels out. Moving through this a few times, heels together, toes out. Toes together, heels out. If it's available to you, you can reach up and grab your toes or your feet. You can also grab your shins or ankles to come into a little bit of a happy baby. Bringing your legs together in front of you, you're going to lengthen your right leg down to the mat. Hold onto your left knee and gently pull your left knee towards your chest. Engaging your core, bringing your right knee back up. This time lengthening your left knee, or left leg down to the mat. Releasing your right leg down to the mat as well. Sometimes I need to straighten out my spine after all of that. So I'm going to lift up my sacrum, make sure my hips are nice and squared. Let my legs lie lengthwise on the mat. I'm going to use my hands to lift up my upper back and slowly roll down so that my shoulders are square in line with my hips. My neck is long and centered. And then I can release my arms down to the mat for Shavasana. For Shavasana today, you can let my voice guide you in and out. I'll tell you when it's time to come out of Shavasana. Returning to your breath, returning to the length of your breath. Just noticing what count you are on your next inhale. And seeing if you can make your exhale at least 1 count or 1 second longer than that inhale. And then releasing the counting and letting your body and your breath do exactly what it wants to do. And doing the zoom in, zoom out meditation if you want to. If you want to, you can just relax and let your mind wander for Shavasana. But this time, doing 1 zoom in and 1 zoom out all the way to the edge of the universe and back on the inhale and the exhale. So a nice, long, slow breath in, building awareness of your body, the room, the building, the city, the state, the world, solar system, universe, known universe, unknown universe, and exhaling, bringing your awareness back through all of that, back to your body, that still calm, centered, quiet place inside of you. And then letting all of that go to come to stillness for Shavasana. Since we're online, you're welcome to stay in Shavasana for as long as you want. If you have to get back to work, then now is a good time to wiggle your fingers and toes, rock gently from side to side, coming into a fetal position on one side before using your top hand to push you up into a seated position. You can inhale, circle your arms up overhead. Exhale, bringing your hands down to your center line. If you want, you can cross your arms and do some of our bilateral gentle tapping to ground in this moment for you, or offer some mental or physical gratitude for your practice for today. It was lovely having all of you here again, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week. We're moving into a month of doing neuroplasticity, which is one of my favorite styles of yoga to teach. We'll do lots of different brain exercises to get those neurons firing and wiring in the way that we want them to be. So I'm very happy to have all of you here today, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Thank you, everybody.